John, is this a nervous time of the year, or are we too far out from the sales before you start getting nervous?
No, you're nervous when you're buying them.
Oh, that's the nervous part.
Well, no, you're nervous when you're buying them, and then you're nervous all the way through until you're sold. And then when they're with somebody else, you're nervous when they're running. Like anyone that tells you they're not is lying.
Because those results matter, don't they?
Yeah.
When they move on.
That's kind of the whole thing now. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter that you can breeze well or have nice horses. It's your results really is what bring repeat customers, and it's kind of the same bunch of people anyway. So it's you need to perform. That's the important thing. Your horse is performing on the track. Saying that, this is kind of squeaky bum time for a breeze up. You're working horses, and we've 20 here. I'm just looking at the list, and you know there's some horses that haven't done a bit of fast work yet, and there's some horses that have done 3, they'll have 4 done after this week. They're different animals altogether now. One has 4 bits of fast work in, one hasn't done. They're not on the same page at all. So there's a separation happens around now. Okay, you like, and I've kind of gone over this in a video before, but you like every horse, and you buy them or you wouldn't buy them. But they're not all going to be superstars. Do you know what I mean? So you know, there's a separation happens, and you have to live with it, or you know, it's disappointing, and it's fantastic when you see one jumping up. And it's not just about ability. Some horses, I have a horse that I had in the Craven that I'll probably take out because he's very fast and he's a ball of a horse, but he's by a 1.25 mile sire out of a Maxios mare, and I brought him down to work him an outside trip, and when I came to work him I just didn't. His knees aren't closed. It's a zero-sum game if you break him down, and it's not, you know, some horses, the breeze up prep for the early sales doesn't suit. So yeah, it is. You're making decisions all the time and trying to make it, just as long as you have enough information. That's the whole thing. Like if you know enough about your horses, make decisions based on that.
And the Craven sale being the first sale, that's for those early horses who show the early signs and are ready to rock and roll. You have how many of those now going to the Craven?
I have 4 in the Craven, and I think I'll have a wild card. I had a horse who was quite tall, so I didn't. But he's just come. They can be deceiving. The knees closed, and he's breathing well, and he's taking everything and eating. So I might have a wild card in there as well. The Craven has evolved. It was Newmarket used to tend to want a bigger type of a horse and maybe more of a pedigree, a classic type of a horse. Now it's kind of set up for the Ascot horse. So it's changed. Now the other horse kind of moved to France, and some of the others did. So yeah, the Craven is about the early fast horses.
What an awful lot of thought, and you get very deep with certain things and things that work, and maybe doing a little differently compared to some people.
Yeah, well, we have a team meeting here every week. Everyone sits down and we go through every horse, and it's happy, healthy, sound, fit. Like, you know, how much hay are they eating? Are they digging up their bed? Are they? It only takes, and we run through them, and you try to. So if you've watched the English rugby team play 30 years ago that won the Triple Crown, they wouldn't get on the team this year. Like, or for the Irish guys, if you watch Jimmy Barry Murphy's Cork team, like, they're not anything like, you know, things move up. As Blarney Holland told me, that things move on about 5 or 10% a year. So if you're not moving on 5 or 10% a year, you're losing. You're falling backwards.
You got to keep up with the times.
Very quick.
Yeah.
So then the other thing is certain stuff. I've been doing this for a good few years now, and you find that, like, it's the 80-20 rule. Like, you know, 20% of the stuff you do gets you 80% of your results. Every year, 20% of our horses get us 80% of our money. So, you know, part is identifying and maximising those.
Tell me a little bit about what Pat does with some of the horses after he's ride out then.
Right, so first of all, I guess one of the things we do riding out is we do trotting poles, and trotting poles are very diagnostic. If a horse they can be perfectly sound on the level for a vet and they'll pass any vet, but if they haven't full stretch in each front leg, they'll find it difficult to do the poles. And if they haven't equal push off each hind leg, they'll find it difficult to do the poles. So, Pat, we have an approach here. I was saying to you earlier, like, when you call a fire brigade, you've already made a couple of bad mistakes or bad decisions. So, calling the vet when they're lame, we try and avoid that stage and get to it before then. So, Pat is a maths and method practitioner, and he's really good because he rides the horses, and he'll say, let me ride that one for a couple of days, and then he'll work on it, and their stride will improve. And racing or speed it's very simple. It's stride length by frequency. Okay, like they've somewhere between, let's say, 16 strides a furlong in a 2 furlong breeze, you have 32 strides. If you can increase stride length or frequency, you're and there's 3 seconds between the top horse and the bottom horse.
That's the difference. It's very small margins.
Yeah, it's a very small margin, but there's a huge margin in profit.
Huge emphasis on the clock, which is obvious for what you're doing. Is it as important as people think?
Yes and no. I mean, yeah, it's more important than people think in one sense. Like the stats are clear, the faster horses win more races. Okay. Then you have Libertarian, the slowest breeze of the year in any sale.
The whole year?
Yeah, in second in the Derby. Second or third in the Derby. There's another horse of Midland Parks. He's a phonic horse, I can't think of his name. Also very slow, second in the Leisure. So it matters for the speed end. Yeah. If you want to buy a fast horse, then buy the one that breezes the fastest.
Would you like to see the distance increased in a breeze up an extra furlong?
I'd love the option. I'd love, like, if there was a Chesham Rules breeze. Or 3 furlongs is I mean, it's very different. It's a lot different than a 2 furlong breeze. There's 2 reasons I'd like to see it. Is that we can buy those kind of, it would open up the market for us, the yearling sales. We're limited and we're all bidding against the same horse, bidding on the same horses. It would open it up so we could buy a more classic type horse, and more of those Tritonics or Libertarian. And the other thing is, if it's a 3 furlong breeze, what I'm doing here would be way more in line with what Richard Hannon or John Gosden or any trainer, or Carl Burke, any trainer in England is doing. Right now we have to kind of train them, to breeze well. And a horse can go for 2 furlongs. Most horses, some can't, but they can just go for 2 furlongs. With a 3 furlong breeze, you'd have to kind of be building and building. It would be a different. I think that horse would fall into the training regime in most yards. It would make the transition smoother.
Your gallop here at home, it's ideal for what you're doing.
It's ideal for
you start off down the circle and keep increasing the whole way up then.
Yeah, and it's 4 furlongs. It's actually 3 3/4 furlongs. There's a joke that fellas, all men lie about the length of their gallop and something else. It's ideal for breezing. Probably need another, if I was training racehorses, it's ideal for breezing, and they quicken all the way to the top, and then they have a pull up. There's no rush to pulling up. Do you know what I mean? So it's slow. A horse on my gallop that does 24 for 2 furlongs will breeze well. I have a slow gallop.
Okay.
And one thing I am changing this year is I'm doing a lot more with them. If we try and improve something every year, and it was taking a long time from our horses from the sale to when their first run was. So we have our horses a lot fitter and a bit lighter this year.
You think that will make a big difference now for when they do breeze then?
I don't know if it'll make a big difference when they breeze. They look a little lighter, which that might go against me. But it'll make a big difference when the trainer gets them. They'll be a lot closer.
Be ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, John, thanks very much for having me this morning. It's a beautiful place down here in Queen, County Clare. And very best of luck in the coming months with all your breeze up horses.
Fingers crossed. Thanks, Ed. Cheers.